I'd like to call the meeting to order. If you would all join me in standing, remove your hats for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for coming. I welcome you to the August board meeting. And we'll move right into the verification of quorum. Harmony?
Okay, Director Cook. Director Griffiths? Here. Director Bach? Director Berringham?
Here.
President Kamasian?
Here.
5 present, quorum met.
Okay. So we have the approval of the July 6th minutes. Does anybody have any corrections or changes for the minutes? I'll look for a motion to approve the minutes.
Approved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
5 in favor, motion carried.
Okay, we're moving right along to public comments. I see Darcy. She's always got some good information for us.
Thank you, President Kamasian, board members, staff. A couple of things you may have heard on the news. The governor asked for a 15% voluntary cutback due to the drought. So basically, we're just asking people to be more efficient. We are not asking people this time to conserve. Just be mindful. I think I've had the same message forever because we tend to be a little lackadaisical in my division on just making sure that we're not overwatering and things aren't running down the street. I also wanted to mention that the sewer rehabilitation project, which our staff presented last month, is kicking off. So 44 homes will be impacted, and there is a pre-bidders conference on August 12th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And those contractors will be meeting and walking the area. Letters should have been received last week by those residents. They do not have to be home. They don't need necessarily access to private property, but they will be going over the scope of the project with those contractors that are choosing to bid on the project. And finally, I just wanted to mention, actually 2 things. The vacancy that we have in Division 3, when Director Jared McBride resigned, we will be interviewing our 3 applicants next Thursday at our open public board meeting and hopefully making a selection at that point, swearing in the individual chosen, and then moving forward. At that time, hopefully, as we look in the next few weeks, we can go back, revisit our strategic plan, and make sure that new director is up to speed on some of the initiatives that we started. And then on my calendar, I have that we are having a EVMWD water orientation for the POA board members that chose to participate, as well as newly elected city council members. So I'm happy to take any questions anyone has, and I again appreciate your time.
Well, thank you. Any questions from the board? No, look forward to seeing you on the 25th.
I can't hear you, Tim, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry, tomorrow with Mayor Castillo. It's the first Wednesday of the month. We are having coffee at the Country Club at 7:30. So bring your questions or concerns, and Casey and I will buy a cup of coffee.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Director Cook.
I don't see Casey tonight. Is she on Zoom?
No, sir.
No?
No.
Okay. Any other public officials who would like to speak? Doesn't appear to be. Okay, we'll move on. Corey Gorham has a presentation, employee recognition, that we'd like to honor.
Good evening. All right, tonight I'd like to take a few minutes to introduce one of our newer Marine Patrol officers, Isaac Pearson, and share a recent incident in which Isaac's quick thinking and effort resulted in an injured member being safely transported to the paramedics. Isaac joined our team in February and has done an outstanding job understanding his role and responsibilities, familiarizing himself with our lake rules, demonstrating a strong work ethic, and also providing great customer service. Tonight, we are presenting Isaac with a certificate of appreciation for going above and beyond the normal call of duty. 2 weeks ago, on Thursday, July 22nd, he was out patrolling the East Bay when he heard a cry for help. He immediately responded and found a young lady clinging to her paddleboard, screaming in pain as she had dislocated her kneecap. While safely maneuvering the boat, Isaac proceeded to throw out his life ring, pull her to the boat, and then lift her up into the boat. He then transported her back to the dock where her parents and emergency services were contacted. The day after this took place, the mother of the young lady reached out to us to share her thoughts and praises for Isaac. She was overwhelmingly grateful for his heroism and decisive action in helping to save her daughter. She stated that once she arrived at the dock, Isaac was informative, assistive, and stayed the entire time to provide support until the paramedics were able to take over. So Isaac, great job. Thank you. I think without your quick action, her situation may have been different. So
Appreciate that.
good
Thank
job.
you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Corey, and thank you, Isaac. That was, Isaac, how long have you been on Marine Patrol?
Oh, man,
February. A new hire.
Yeah.
Welcome.
If it wasn't for Art and Dawn, they had discussions as far as patrol and what they think is appropriate. And the East Bay tours is all due thanks to them. Because otherwise, I wouldn't have been in a position. So the fact that we do East Bay tours and we develop new tactics is all due to the community, Corey, Dawn, all of you guys. That's what this is all here for. That's why we're here. So if we see an incident out there, our responsibility is safety first. So
Well, I know the people at home didn't hear that, but he was very complimentary towards staff at the Marine Patrol and the responsibilities that they have, and that's wonderful. Welcome to have you on board.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and one of the real bright spots of our community. That's wonderful. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Was there anything on the consent agenda that the board would like to pull? Apologize. I will call for a motion to approve the consent agenda. So moved. And second?
Second.
And second. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
5 in favor, motion carried.
Thank you. We're going to move on to the approval for the annual audit for fiscal year 2021. Susan Daywood isn't here, but I think Eric's going to cover that for us.
Sorry, I am. I'm just looking for an updated draft that Susan sent me. So on an annual basis, the Board of Directors is required to acknowledge the receipt of the annual audit. Our auditing firm, Bravo and Carlson, has completed the audit for fiscal year ending April 30th, 2021, and has provided a draft copy of the results. The draft copy was just completed today. Financial footnotes are continuing to be reviewed. Because it's a draft copy, we recommend that the Board of Directors receive the draft annual audit report for fiscal year ending April 30th, 2021 to be accepted as final if no further changes are presented from the auditors. And if they are, then we will bring it back next month, but we don't anticipate that.
Thank you, Eric. Um, Do I have any member comments?
No.
Okay. Do I have any board comments? Okay, we'll take a motion. I'm sorry, this is a motion to receive and file. This is not an approval of the document. It is just a motion to receive and file.
Correct.
I motion that we receive and file this document.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Now I can ask for discussion, but there was none, so I'll move on to all in favor. Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
5 in favor, motion carried.
Okay, this is another file that we will, another study we will receive and file, which is the reserve study for fiscal year 2021-22. Eric?
So the board of directors and staff engaged the company by the name of Smart Property to conduct our 2021-2022 reserve study. This study reviews the association's assets and the funds reserved to provide for the repair and replacement of these assets. As stated in Civil Code 5550, the study shall at a minimum include, number one, identification of the major components that the association is obligated to repair, replace, restore, or maintain that as of the date of the study have a remaining useful life of less than 30 years. Number two, identification of the probable remaining useful life of the components thus identified as of the date of the study. Number three, an estimate of the cost of repair, replacement, restoration, or maintenance of the components identified. And number four, an estimate of the total annual contribution necessary to defray the cost to repair, replace, restore, or maintain the components identified after subtracting total reserve funds as of the date of the study. Number five, a 30-year reserve funding plan that indicates how the association plans to fund the association's obligation of maintaining and replacing the assets identified over time. Once approved, the entire report along with this summary will be available at our website at www.canyonlakepOA.com/576/financials. Fiscal impact is none, and recommendation is that the board of directors receive and file the reserve study for the period beginning May 1st, 2021. And after the board accepts this, we will post it on our website. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Do I have a motion to receive and file the reserve study for fiscal year 2021-22? All right, second? Second. Is there any member comments?
No.
No member comments. Any comments from the board? I'd like to just kind of give some of the members a little bit of an overview of what the reserve study is so they maybe have a better understanding. Eric did a good job of explaining that, but I'd like to go a little further. This is not a factual document that is absolute. There's a lot of projections in there that are really unknown, but they're honest and sincere projections. This is a team effort by all the committees. The committees put a tremendous amount of time into working specifically identifying items that either were not still in existence or possibly had more life left than others, or maybe the cost was off. But the Green Committee, the FPC, the Finance Committee, and I believe the Rec Committee was also involved in that. A tremendous amount of work was also done by Eric and Lynn and their staff to work this program and get us to the point where we're at today. This actually gave us a more accurate picture of our future reserves. We had a picture of our reserves, but with all the work that went into this, there's a tremendously better picture of what we owe, what we will owe in the future, and when we will owe it, which is critical to our budget planning. And this is required by law to do every 3 years. So it's something that we're not just wasting our money on. This is a valuable tool that we have, and it's required by law. And just so you know, we have over 1,000 asset items. So it's a tremendous chore to identify each of those items, put a cost to it, put a useful life to it, and put a value and a projection on it. So this is a tremendous effort. All of these items have a value and useful life, and they will need to be replaced sometime. So the study gives us a snapshot of what we need to replace in the coming years. That's very helpful in our budget process. It also projects out over 30 years, so we have a long-term view of that. So while it's not an exact science, the reserve study is a valuable and necessary tool in our budget process. And this study will be available to every homeowner on the link that will be published soon once it's all approved. Okay, so with that, I'd like to call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And opposed?
5 in favor, motion carried.
Thank you. Okay, Cheryl, you're up.
Good evening. Today we have 3 rules that we are coming to add to the board to ask for a 28-day reading. And the first one is for PC 9.6 for seawall rule revision. It's come to the attention of the committee and also staff that changes were needed to be made for seawall construction and to revise PC 9.6. There is a need to make specific requirements for seawalls and coves and update the current rule. Other small changes were also added for reference and for informational purposes only. The change includes how the specific design of the seawall and the location of seawalls for coves in order to not encroach onto a neighbor's sphere of influence. The seawall width and location must be computed by using the apex center point at the end of the cove. The apex is a point established where ascending the lines converge or meet. There is no amount for a fine. This is just for informational purposes only. It is recommended that the Board of Directors approve a 28-day reading to revise PC 9.6 as attached. And if you want to look at the actual rule that we are revising, it's all that it's in red. And so it basically goes like this. Elevation at the top of the footing, or TOF, is to be no lower than 1377 feet MSL and staked by a certified surveyor with survey maps showing footage from the rear property line. Stakes must be visible on the footing inspection. Seawalls cannot encroach beyond the 1372 level. The top of the footing and no higher than 1383 foot MSL, which is mean sea level. Top of the wall. Plans must be wet stamped by a licensed engineer with the seawall side elevation, detail specifications, and dock and ramp locations with all requirements of PC 9.5 included. Seawalls shall be built with split face block facing the water for the entire seawall face. For coves, seawalls width and location must be computed by using the apex center point at the end of the cove. The plan must include what will be behind the seawall, i.e. like concrete, landscaping, and such. So once again, staff is recommending that the Board of Directors approve the 28-day reading to revise PC 9.6 for seawalls as attached.
Thank you, Cheryl. I hope that was very clear to the members. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion and second. We can open it for discussion. Any member comments?
No.
No member comments. Any board comments? Okay, I'd just like to explain one thing that people understand, that in a cove, you visualize a piece of property that has a pie-shaped lot, and it typically is narrow at the street and wide at the back. And what a lot of people think is that their property line continues into the cove and widens even further into the cove, and they actually encroach on their neighbor's access. This rule, if I'm correct, will rectify that issue, and when the property line ends at your property line, it now becomes a center point on the cove where your access narrows and goes to the center of the cove. And this is a much fairer application to the rules than what a lot of coves are experiencing. So that's a positive thing that ACC has put forward, and I appreciate that. So we'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
5 in favor, motion carried.
1 down, 2 to go.
Okay. All right, so staff is recommending also for PC 6.2E, which is additional requirements for fences, walls, that's supposed to be walls, my apologies, and other improvements on or adjacent to neighboring property line rule revision. In an effort to help membership to not be placed in a hardship situation, the committee deemed it necessary to revise PC 6.2E to reflect a change in the application requirement. The present rule states in order to replace a property line fence wall, there is a requirement to obtain both an expensive survey and a notarized signature from the adjacent neighbors to agree with the placement of the property line fence or wall. The revised rule now states a survey or the neighbor's notarized signature agreement of placement. In some cases, the member may want to obtain a survey in the event there is a property line disagreement, or just the signature of an adjacent neighbor stating an agreement of the placement of the fence. Other minor changes is the explanation that the agreement or survey will be recorded with the county and that the committee may, in some cases, require a survey. So the reflected bullet point changes are: remove the word and replace with or. The recording of the application for fence replacements will be done by the CLPOA, and a new block property line wall or fence will require an application from all adjacent neighbors and a survey. The reason why we're asking for that is because walls are considered more permanent than a fence. And then the last one is the committee at their discretion may require a survey depending on if there's any other situations. There is no fine for this. It's just for informational purposes only. It is recommended that the board of directors approve a 28-day reading to revise PC 6.2E, and I'll forego having to say it all again there. And if you look at the page, it actually shows you the red line version of where we're going to be changing it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. I will look for a motion to approve the revision of PC 6.2E.
Motion approved.
Second? Second. Okay, we have motion and second. Do we have comments?
No.
No comments from the board? No comments from the board. I think this is a good move. I appreciate the ACC being considerate about people that already have a fence and want to replace it. They don't tax them with the responsibility of an additional survey if the neighbors are in agreement. So that being the case, it's more user-friendly and better for the community and the people that are trying to improve their properties. So with that, we'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
5 in favor, motion carried.
Okay, 2 down, 1 to go.
Number 3.
Okay, the last but not least, we have a 28-day reading for PC 5.10, which is driveways and additional parking rule revision. There is a great need in the community for additional parking for recreational vehicles and multiple cars and trucks. In an effort to give direction for additional parking and driveway extension, the ACC committee felt it necessary to revise PC 5.10. Additional information is required for corner lots for RV and vehicle parking so as not to become an obstruction at an intersection or a view of a stop sign or oncoming traffic. So what we're asking for on bullet pointing is to not block the view of the front of the house. The circular driveway is meant for easy access to the street and not for long-term parking of vehicles, RV boats or trailers. So what that means is at the very top end of the circular driveway, the committee is, doesn't feel that having a vehicle parked to block the front of the house is aesthetically pleasing. The second bullet point is for corner lots with parking on the side parallel to the street. The committee will set the location for the parking area using the apex of the corner, similar to what we were doing for the seawalls. Also, bullet point number 3, which is curb cuts cannot be made in the front radius of the curb. Letting members know because there have been quite a few requests in the past. And then the last bullet point is members must also provide measurements and calculations for the 1/3 landscape in order to comply with PC 8.1. So this again is not any fine attached to it. It's for informational purposes. It is recommended that the Board of Directors approve a 28-day reading to revise PC 5.10 driveways and additional parking as attached. And as you can see on the actual rule, there is a portion there where it's just the red line that we're asking for changes. So we're adding to the actual labeling of it, additional parking, and then of course, putting down a little bit more about circular driveways and then also the apex.
Okay, thank you. That's very clear. Okay, do we have a motion to approve? PC 5.10.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
A motion and second. Do we have any
No.
member comments? Okay. Board comments? Okay, I think this is just another effort for ACC to streamline their work and make life a little bit easier for everybody. So thank you for your efforts. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
5 in favor, motion carried.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you, Cheryl. Okay, now we get into our solemn ski areas rules. I'm going to probably turn this over to Renee. No.
Read the background again?
Yeah.
I'll read the background again. The Board of Directors held a special board meeting workshop on June 9th, 2021 to allow all members of the community to comment about possible revision of Rule LM 9.23. Approximately 90 members were in attendance. The board later met with the Ski Club, Wakeboard Club, SoCal skiers, and Bassmasters Club representatives to discuss the use of the slalom course area and sport priority. As a result of this meeting, there was consensus on a portion of the revision regarding, now this is old, but regarding Monday through Friday use. The board was left with the task to decide priority for the weekends. What was great about during our meeting in July is while we were getting ready to decide on certain issues that had not been decided on by both clubs, that both clubs did come together and presented us at that meeting with their recommendation. So the board did not have to make a decision on what we thought was best and fair. We could simply agree with what the members were already stating would work best for all parties. So thank you so much, first and foremost, as we get on with this rule, for presenting that to us in July. That was incredibly helpful and greatly appreciate it. With that, we are recommending that the Board of Directors approve the revised rule LM 9.23. The new rule states, priority shall be granted to slalom skiing from sunrise until noon, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday.
Okay, thank you, Renee. I will look for a motion.
Motion to approve is written.
And a second?
Second.
And a second. Okay, do we have any discussion items?
No.
Moment. All right, board, any comments? The only comment I have is I want to thank Tim and Renee for their hard work on this, working with the clubs to come up with a solution. And that'll be my statement for all the next 5 or 6 approvals. But we'll move on to the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
5 in favor, motion carried.
Renee?
All right. Now that there are multiple water sport enthusiasts enjoying North Lake, specifically Front Lake Solemn Course area, it is necessary to change the word skiers to riders. So the proposed rule is a skiers/riders turn is determined by boat rotation as noted on the sign-up sheet at the starting dock. Now we're just getting into semantics, so this might be kind of boring, but
Yeah.
that's
It's
the rule.
just part of the process.
Part
We
of the
have to go
process.
through it. Yeah. Okay. Do we have a motion?
Motion approved.
Did I hear a motion?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. A second?
I'll second.
Did I get a second?
Sure.
Okay, sure. Uh, Discussion, Harmony?
No.
Okay. Board discussion? Anything? I think the board has discussed this enough. So we'll move on to the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
5 in favor, motion carried.
Renee?
Yep, wrong Tim.
Turn skiers, page 69.
I went ahead, my bad. All right. Again, we're going on semantics, but here we go. While a turn for skiers is defined in Rule LM 9.25, there's no definition for other water sports. It's important for all water sports enthusiasts to know the length of their turn in the front water. Current rule is a skier's turn is 6 one-way passes or 3 falls. Revised rule proposed is a skier's turn is 6 one-way passes or 3 falls. Any rider's rotation is 15 minutes.
All right, thank you. Do we have a motion? Motion made. Second.
Second.
Second motion and second. Discussion?
No.
Sorry, folks, we got to go through this process. Until I lose my place. All right, so do we have board discussion? No board discussion.
I would just like to make one comment,
Sure.
because here back again, I know this is a lot of repetitive stuff, but honestly, without John Jacobson and Steve Hauger and these clubs all working together to make this thing happen, and this is the first time in years we've had agreements between these clubs, and I'm grateful for their efforts.
That's a good point, and we do thank the clubs for their efforts. So I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
5 in favor, motion carried.
Okay. Renee, you're up again. Well, it says Renee on here. I saw that. Did I?
Yeah. Upon review of the rule of
Oh,
discussion with the various
sorry.
clubs and users of the North Ski Area, it has been the consensus and recommended that LM 928 be revised to allow wake surfing in the Swallowing Course area to make reasonable restrictions on the turnarounds for ski and wakeboard and wake surfing. The proposed revision of the rule would yet again allow wake surfing in the Swallowing Course area that would place reasonable restrictions on the turnaround parameters to help the mitigation dock damage. The new rule would read, no turnaround or U-turns permitted within 400 feet of the dock for wake enhancing device boats in the Swallowing Course area. No turnaround or U-turns permitted with 200 feet from the dock or any other type of motorized boat in the Swallowing Course area. Only one skier rider is allowed on the Swallowing Course area at a time.
Okay, thank you, Tim. Do I have a motion to approve the revision of 9.28?
So moved.
Motion second? And second. Discussion from the members?
No.
None? Discussion from the board? Okay, we'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
5 in favor, motion carried.
Okay, we're going to move on to Renee for 9.29.
Yeah, last two. Currently, there is no rule about the number of boats that are allowed to run in the backwater at the same time. The ski club and wakeboard club recognize the need to have a rule to help create a safe place for all water sport enthusiasts in the backwater. The two clubs work collectively to create a rule to help create a safer ride for the members in the backwater, of which I thank you for that. So the proposed rule, there is no current rule. So proposed rule is a maximum of 2 boats are allowed to run in the backwater at the same time.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion for 9.29?
So moved.
Move, second,
Second.
and second. Discussion from the members?
No.
None? All right. From the board? No discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
5 in favor, motion carried.
Okay. Renee, 9.30.
Bringing it home. Here we go. Last one. And before I start, because I have the floor, I would like to thank Tim Cook. I appreciate that you thanked me, but it was majority him and all his hard work. He took the brunt of all of it from people. So I greatly appreciate everything you did. I just typed some things up, but I appreciate your heart for the people on both sides, all on Canyon Lake. So thank you. With that, the last, here we go. Background. Currently, there are no rules about a rider's turn in the backwater. The ski club and wakeboard club recognize the need to have a rule so all members have a clear understanding of the length of each rider's turn in the backwater. The two clubs work collectively to create a rule that addresses a rider's turn in the backwater. Again, thank you to both clubs for creating this. The proposed rule is LM 9.30, a rider's turn in the backwater. A rider's turn in the backwater is limited to 15 minutes. Other boats must wait for their turn.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
So moved, second,
Second.
and second. Discussion from the members?
No.
No discussion from the board? No. Looks like we can call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
5 in favor, motion carried.
Okay. All right. Thank you all very much. We'll,
Before we move on, I would like to commend
Sure.
our president on this. It's kind of a journey. And I'm not sure which was harder to pass all of this or for me to get up on skis or wakeboard someday. But nevertheless, it was really something to see, because I don't know if we would have predicted a 5-0 on all of these things, let alone a coalition of the groups involved who come from, what I've learned is very different backgrounds, almost different types of people, even though they're out on the water doing similar things. And for many of us who drive by, it all looks like, hey, that looks amazingly crazy. I can't even imagine. But this is their passions, and they're very different. We've learned, and the fact that they could come together, we could come together. We all couldn't have done that without really Joe bringing us all together, turning what might have been a dissenting kind of issue into, frankly, a unanimous decision of our board. And frankly, if not the entire community, then a great bulk of the community, and especially those who use those facilities the most. Thank you all.
and thank you, Brian. That was very nice. And I can tell you that this is a board that doesn't agree on everything, but we work hard to do what's right for the community. And ultimately, I think that's our goal. So I hope you folks can appreciate that. We're going to move on to member comments. No,
Jack Walmsley.
it looks like we have Jack Walmsley, our resident commenter.
Historian.
Hello, Jack.
With reference to the rules that you just passed, I think it's very important that you understand, and I think some of you already do, we lease the top of the surface of the water. The water belongs to EMV, and however, the land does not. The land belongs to BLM. So rules and so on that you pass, it's very important that you pass this information along to BLM. A lot of times the people don't understand that. They think the water company owns that land. They do not. And so it would be very advisable that you contact, at least to let BLM know what you're doing. And if you have a problem with that, why, let me know. I know them very well.
Thank you, Jack. I appreciate that, and we'll look into that.
No
Any
other comments.
No other member comments. Oh my gosh. Eric, it looks like you're up for your report.
Okay, we guys went way too fast tonight because I usually write my report during the meeting, and so my report will be pretty short. I saw where we were and I started writing faster. It's just scribbles. Oh, Joe, turn your mic off. Okay. Still have feedback for some reason. Oh, okay. So POA staff have been very busy. Staff and management have been training on our new software system, which should be a much better experience for our members and allow all of our departments to work together on the same software system. So we're super excited about that. We have an intensive staff training this whole week, and then some. Sierra Park North, we're working on executing a contract with American Ramp, which is the same company that built the pump track, the track itself in Temecula. And our legal team has reviewed it. Currently, their legal team is reviewing it. So by the time we meet next time, we should have a contract with the ramp company or the track company. As far as the park itself goes, we have started excavating the retaining wall. The location that we surveyed, the location of the large retaining wall. Some of these retaining walls are over 20 feet high. It's kind of a stacked block system that is a mechanically stabilized, engineered soil system. So basically we put down a row of block, we backfill that, we laid down a row of fabric, and then we do that 20 more times. It's one of the most expensive parts of the Sierra Park North project. In the high $300,000 range. And so since it's one of the larger ticket items, we're first surveying and excavating where those walls go to see what our actual soil conditions are. The project was designed by civil engineers based on expectations of what the soil conditions would be and what the soils engineers thought the soil conditions would be down 20 feet. And now we've done that excavation, and when Steve and I met with the soils engineers yesterday, we had some good results. We have some strategies about how to handle some undocumented fill situations that we ran into. And so we're moving forward, and we've continued to value engineer the project from the beginning, including the work we're doing now and the meeting we had yesterday with the geotechnical engineer. And we are now going to make some minor modifications how we're going to go about these walls. And the goal would be to build less of these very expensive retaining walls. And it looks like we're on a good path to do that, which will save us even more money as we go along. So the project is progressing, and we're continuing to value engineer it in the field and find out what conditions we really have in the real world, and adapting and looking for ways to save costs in the very expensive site work. So we're excited about how that's going, and we're doing it. We have also converted our former file storage in the conference room or in the member services area into a nice new conference room. We're going to be doing some flooring replacement in the lobby and hallway. I think that's this weekend. Is that right, Steve? So next week, there should be a pretty fresh new look in it's probably 20-year-old carpeting leading up to member services. And that whole transformation is going to take a big step forward this weekend. The large dog park project is moving right along. We have about 3 weeks left before we complete that. The restrooms at Happy Camp are in second plan check at the city. And we're planning on resurfacing the tennis courts. That's scheduled for October 10th. Should take about 10 days. And there's shade structures at Indian and Sierra Park. And that's when Joe called my name and I forget when they're going to be done. I stopped writing. When are those going to be done? Okay, construction on the shade structures at Indian Beach and Sierra Park should be completed this fall. And that's all I have. So thanks for coming. Fast meeting today.
Yeah, we got to make up for those executive meetings. Okay. Thank you, Eric. I can tell you that I wish everybody had the opportunity to sit in on the meetings that we have with Eric as a board to find out the efforts that he and Steve have gone through to streamline the cost, streamline the design on Sierra Park. As you all know, pricing came in well over $2.5 million, and we had only approved $2 million plus the contingency. And there was a tough road ahead for Eric and Steve, and they have risen to the occasion. And it appears that the project is going to go forward, and we're going to get the park in, and hopefully we'll all see that next year in the finished product. So thank you both for your efforts. Your community patrol reports and staff reports are all in the packet. Hopefully you can review those. If you have any questions, you can call the respective departments and they'll hopefully help you out. If you have any issues, you can contact the board directly via the board email. So with that, we're down to board comments. So Brian, do you have any comments for the community?
I'll let others want to go first.
I'm sorry?
And others want to go? You're going to?
I changed it around, so
Okay.
surprise you.
Yeah, I'll comment with what a beautiful day it is today. First time back from some travels, almost a month. And although the world is beautiful outside, we were in Europe and so forth, when you come back to Canyon Lake, there's nothing like it. And today is a good example of how great Canyon Lake really is. First, we'll start with no offense to those who are here, but you're missing out what's outside. And if you don't know on TV, there is this incredible, used to be Taco Tuesday, now it's like taco /
Family fun.
water park extravaganza Tuesday, and I don't know if it's going to go into Wednesday or not, but they might take it down tonight. I don't know. There's kids out there, maybe not hundreds. Well, there might be hundreds. There were several tens of families, and then when I walked in the lodge, there was an equal number of exuberant families in the bar and the restaurant, and we had a great dinner there as well. And just, you know, really, really positive, beautiful things are happening. And I just wanted to kind of share on that. Let's see what else. I think that's pretty much it for now. So kudos to our POA administration on these things, because honestly, the people think, well, the board does all this. None of that's done by the board. I mean, not, you know, if it was bad, I'd say none of it was done by us, but actually it's good, really good, and none of it was done by us. We didn't say, hey, you need to do this. They just went ahead and did it. And frankly, last week I heard it was a great success as well. I missed the foam party, but this week there's no foam, but there's water slides. Nevertheless, all wonderful, all great, and thank you. We commend you. Well, okay, I guess. I like to talk about things once they're going, but we'll talk about where we're going with something, which is coming up on August 17th, I think the second week. We're going to have our first of this board rules committee meeting commencement. I won't get into all the details, but I thank those who volunteered. I thank those who put their names forward. And we have a great group of 7 strong individuals, and myself and Mr. Gorham will be steering well, Mr. Gorham will be steering the ship. I'll be watching him steer. With the committee really taking control of this, given board direction and ultimately giving back to us their thoughts and research and experiences and so forth on various things that are put forth to them. And we'll keep you posted and give regular updates as they're appropriate.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it. Jim?
So last year, the car club was not able to have their car show. As of today, hopefully there's no changes coming up, but the Canyon Lake Car Club show is back for 2021 on October 2, 2021. For anybody out there that has a car that's 1979 or older, you can put it into the show. I believe it's $30, and all the forms and stuff like that are on the internet if you look up the CanyonLakeCarClub.com. It's always fun. I had one of my cars in there several years ago, and to see about 300 cars that are classic is pretty exciting, and it's a nice free event. So thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Renee?
I'd like to thank both Steve and Eric for all their help with the reserve reports. And Eric, if you were the one who chose the software, thank you so much for choosing that software. Unless it was you, Steve, thank you so much. And then everyone who worked hard and spent a lot of hours going through all of that, making sure there weren't any missing components. So I greatly appreciate all their time with that. Again, thank you, Tim, for your passion and hard work with the wakeboard club and the ski club, and then taking the brunt of some abuse, to put it mildly, for that. I'm still waiting for someone to come after me, but they went after you. So thank you for staying strong in that and having an amazing heart for the community. Thank you to the rest of the board, staff who does everything. As Brian put it, we just show up, and community patrol for keeping our place as safe as possible with a lot of crazy people, including myself, who live there. Not that I'm breaking the rules, but I appreciate how hard you guys work 24/7. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Renee. Tim?
I really want to thank you, Joe, as president, taking charge of this whole negotiation thing and everything going on here. And really the whole commitment of the whole board making this work and all these clubs coming together. It was amazing, stressful, but amazing. And I just love the end result, how everybody is working together. And it's like, once again, though, I got to plug ACC. These guys are the hardest working committee I've ever seen in my life, and week after week, they just continue to impress me. The time and commitment these people put into this job for is $0. They're amazing. And staff. I just love what they do every week. I do apologize. Last time I missed the Recreation Committee meeting, but coming up again next Tuesday. So I'll have a follow-up report on that for you next time. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Tim. Okay, well, I was going to comment about tacos and family fun, but that's already been discussed. And, I hope people are going to take advantage of it. We only have one more week of it left. So be sure and get out and enjoy it. It's a great event. I do want to talk about the irrigation system on the golf course, that project. It's been an ongoing thing for the last couple of months, and they're set to complete the underground work in the next few weeks, which is a major accomplishment. It's, I don't know how many thousands of feet of lateral pipe they put underground, but it was tremendous. Every one of the lateral pipes was replaced. Every one of the irrigation heads was replaced. But I can't tell you, the pump stations are on site and they will be installed in September. So that will complete the project. So one of the issues they had was the contractor, well, not with the contractor, but with the soil, was the golf course soil is so rocky that it had a significant impact on the progress of the contractor. And as hopefully most of you know, whenever you do an underground project, you never know what you're going to encounter. In this case, we had an idea, but it was pretty bad. So that's a big part of why the project is not completed by now and ran over schedule, but it was certainly understood and expected. The existing turf on each of the holes, as they shut the water off to do the work, went 3 to 4 days without any irrigation. In this 100-degree weather, it was pretty significant impact on the turf, and that's a large reason why you see a lot of brown grass out there. And that high temperature was certainly unexpected as early as it came in the year. In June, we had some 100-degree weathers that we weren't expecting. The good news is the Bermuda grass is a hardy turf, and it loves the warm weather as long as you give it water. So we're going to irrigate the heck out of it, and we expect it to recover in the next month. So, and the other good news is the project is going well, should be done in the underground should be done in a few weeks, pump stations in September, and we expect to come in under budget. So that's always good news, especially for the board to be able to share with the community. As liaison to the FPC, a couple of things we're working on with the operations is the Lighthouse Foundation. There's some questions that it's compromised, and they're looking at ways to reinforce the foundation and secure the lighthouse in the location where it's at now. They're also researching reflectors for guardrails at the Longhorn Causeway and investigating automated kiosks for the gate access. Don't get excited. This isn't an absolute thing. They're just looking at the possibilities of automated kiosks. I can tell you as a non-board member, I'm involved with the City Golf Championship, and I want to let everybody know that it's going to come up on October 2nd and 3rd. So any of you avid golfers or hackers or anybody that loves the game, you're welcome to come down to the pro shop and sign up for the City Golf Championship. It's October 2nd and 3rd. Lastly, I want to mention vector control. There's been some issues on the lake reported about mosquitoes and gnats, and those are two things that vector control will address. So if you have any issues with mosquitoes or gnats or any kind of insect that might carry a disease, you're welcome to call the Northwest Mosquito Vector Control. And I'll give you the phone number, and if you don't catch it now, you can email me. I'll be happy to send it to you. It's 951-340-9792. I called them today about an issue I had. They assured me they'd have someone come out to my house, specifically look at the surrounding areas, try to identify cause for mosquitoes and rectify it and get back to me. So they're very responsive service, and they are part of Riverside County Department of Environmental Health. So I encourage you, if you have a problem, to call them. So that's all I have for tonight. If there is no more business to conduct, I'll talk about our next meeting on Tuesday, September 7th. We meet at 1 o'clock for executive session, and our regular session will be 6 o'clock, September 7th, next month. Thank you, and I hope to see you all then. Motion to, oh, okay. Motion to close. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
No discussion.
Thank you.